This next guest, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a tough one, this one. He's rose to fame pretty quickly with a niche that no one's tackling. You went viral because the message you spread is much needed. Like when I watch it, I feel it.
And what you said before was you do this every day, but it might be the same job every day, but it's a different actor, it's a different play, it's a different role, it's a new soul. Because every soul has a purpose and every soul had a being on this world, a reason to be here. Look at every day as it is. Don't look at so far ahead. Because when you look at the finish line, sometimes it feels, bro, I'm not gonna make it. So look at what today is. You may not make it to tomorrow.
Can you share with us the saddest experience you've ever had in your career?
Saddest part is my mum. You know, I go to the coroner people know me usually, you know, and when I went to pick up my mum, the girls go, oh yeah, I'm gonna check the ID band. I said, it's all right, I know who it is. And they looked and they go, I go to my mum. And they just got up off their chairs and, you know, oh, so sorry, so sorry. I said, it's all right, don't be sorry. It's reality, we do this every day.
You did mention about how you wake up during the nights. Is it because of the things that you see?
A couple of things that make me wake up very early is...
Welcome back to the Out of Inches podcast. We're still in Sydney, and this next guest, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a tough one. This one, you know, as you know me, I like to joke around and have a lot of fun. But this next guest, I feel like it's gonna be a lot more serious talk, and I think me and Maza, we've been preparing for this one for quite some bit mentally, and I do want to introduce him, Ahmad. Now Ahmad, he's rose to fame pretty quickly. I'm not gonna lie, Ahmad. I think you could agree with that. You rose to fame pretty quickly with a niche that no one's tackling.
I'll tell you the story about that, but anyway, yeah, you can say it's pretty quick. Yeah.
It's a niche that no one really talks about, no one really tackles, but you have taken it and you've taken it by storm. You went viral, right? I think the second Muslim in Australia with 1 million followers after Sunny. So you're like flying everywhere right now, right? And alhamdulillah, yeah, because the message you spread is much needed, right? It's about death. It's about, you know, us preparing for the next world. And the stories you give us are, like when I watch it, I feel it, right? And many other people feel it.
It's very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable but comfortable because you know it's something you're going to go through in life.
Yeah.
You know.
But
yeah,
meeting you for the brief few minutes before the pod. You're such a jovial, fun guy. Like, how do you maintain that? Like, God knows where you just came from, right?
That's
For all I know, you came from a funeral,
yeah.
but you're there here laughing, having a good time. Like, what's up, man?
It's taken a long time to learn how to adjust from what you do to what is reality. You know, so I've learned that what I do in the day and what I go through. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm hard as steel now. I cry a lot. I get up in the nights a lot. I make a lot of prayers for these people. And I contact these people a lot, but I still realize I have a family, I have my own life. And, you know, you got to always be conscious about your well-being, yourself, your psychological state, that what I do plays a big mental part in life. But at the same time, I accept it. And I say, you know, if my dad was to die tomorrow, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a long life, I have no problems in picking him up, washing him, burying him in the grave, and making dua for him just like I do for everyone else. Because I've accepted this as a reality. You know, but it hurts. Yeah, it really does, you know, especially kids, you know, especially little 2-year-olds and 1-year-olds, because I have those kind of grandkids, you know, and I know the actions they go through, and to see them in that state of, you know, no hawla wala quwwah, they don't move and they don't talk anymore. You remember the funny things they do, and everyone's got memories in life. So I relate with that. But then, like you said, I come here and I laugh and I joke, because there was once upon a time in my life where I was very sick with kidney failure. And I forgot how to laugh. I forgot how to be happy. I was actually a very unpleasant person to be around for a couple of years. And I missed it. And now that it's happening naturally again, it's just the way I was all my life.
That's a very strong mindset to have. Because when I watch your videos and then I think about, you know, like if, you know, when my dad passes away, right? I know for a fact it's going to be like the hardest moment of my life. Right? And then you're seeing this on a daily basis where people are breaking down at the graves and at the mosques, and you're seeing it like every day is like a reality check for you that death is going to happen and people are going to cry behind you and whatnot. And you coming here laughing, having a good time, the mindset, like it says a lot about you, right? So today I'm assuming you had a funeral, right?
Yeah, today I had a funeral for a lady, an older lady, and I had a funeral for a baby. For a child.
Today, just today.
Yeah, so the funeral car had a big coffin in it and it had a little cot on the side.
Okay.
And I always look from the outside in. I said, all these cars around me, seeing this thing drive, and I had to go pretty far distance for this funeral in out the western suburbs. They could see a cot next to a coffin. So they're automatically thinking, was it a child and the mother or a child and the father? Was it a car accident that they were both in a car? I know what people think because these are the occurrences when death happens. But they weren't related, you know. But the kid, the parents couldn't be there. They couldn't bring themselves to come and bury their child. So they said, please shoot me a video. I mean, this is real. Do me a video and send it to us, which I did, you know. Held that baby in my hands, jumped in the grave, put it, got the machine on, backfilled it, sent them the video, and they said, Jazakallah khair. And I mean, what else could I do more than that, you know? It's yesterday we had a set of twins, you know, like it's even more shocking because it's two kids that look the same, passing away at the age of 1. Like it's just, it's every day, man. And what you said before was you do this every day, but it might be the same job every day, but it's a different actor, it's a different play, it's a different role, it's a new soul, because every soul has a purpose, and every soul had a being on this world, a reason to be here. You know, that's why when you go to the cemetery and you see my videos, and I love to visit cemeteries all around the world. Wherever country I'm in or state, I go to the cemetery. Because I believe while you're on the earth, you had a presence. Someone called you, you meant something to someone remembered you, inshallah. But when you die, people forget you. And I think to myself, I can remember these people or let people remember them. And I've had people send me messages, that's my grandfather. Where is he exactly? Oh, I didn't know where his grave was. And things like that, you know. And I think there's a hikmah, there's the lesson in everything we do for reality and humanity. It's for the good of humanity, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, bro, whether whatever religion you are, whatever faith you believe in, I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong here, but death happens to all of us. Whether you're atheist, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Hindu, death occurs to every single one of us, and we all mourn. We all hurt, bro. You know, like I remember a lot of my videos, people say, where's the women in your videos? And I'd say, they're there. And then one video I shot where the women were all standing. I said, but we have a respect and dignity in a way we do things because our women don't mix in funerals. But our women hurt, our women cry. I mean, I've seen mothers jump up and down and they don't leave the grave for a month. They're sleeping at the grave all morning, all day. So, yeah, of course, we're humans. Just because you're Muslim doesn't mean you're hard and, you know, we're rough and oppressive people. No, it's actually opposite. We're rahmeh, we're more merciful. But the way we bury our dead so quickly, it's a dignified matter because the person's deceased. He has no more connections with the world. And if anything, his body will start to decay. It's a natural occurrence. So you're not giving him the dignity of when he was alive. You know, if he was a person who looked after himself and smelled good and that, you don't want the bad smells to come out after 2, 3, 4, 5 days of leaving him because people are waiting to arrive or working out, you know, what we're going to do, how we're going to do everything. It's wrong. The deceased is suffering for nothing. So alhamdulillah, Islam, we bury very quickly. And sometimes within a couple, I get bodies that are still warm. Wallah, still warm, bro. And I say to people, man, he's still warm. They go, he just died like an hour ago. And I think, man, 2 hours ago, his soul was still in his body. It's just how I think, you know. But like yesterday, man. Yesterday was a hard one because it was a 33-year-old. Those ages always hurt you because especially when they're not sick, when they die suddenly, you know. He died suddenly. It was sleep apnea, but, I mean, it wasn't expecting to get it. He passed away, and I know this kid. I've known him for a long time because I'm his brother's age, but he was always in the picture. But quiet kid. You know those quiet guys that don't bother anyone. They're always in the background. And the last kid he had was a girl who's 9 months old and was the love of his life. And he had 2 other kids, a boy and another girl that was about 5. So both 3 kids under the age of 6. When we buried him yesterday, and obviously the young guys, a lot of people come out. And everyone steps back and gets on with the world. You know, where you going now? You know, where you going to go eat? What are you doing? What are you building? You know, back to the worldly talk. One of the ladies said to me, please, can you come and talk to his daughter? She was standing on the grave.
Like the 5-year-old? The
little 5-year-old or 6-year-old. She's standing on the head of the grave. And I said to her name, I'm not going to mention her name. And I said, do you know where your father is? And she was looking down at the grave like, you know, I'm telling you, I'm picturing when I said it to her yesterday. And she just went like this to me, you know, like a kid. And I said, your father's in Jannah, your father's in paradise. And you know, your father had 2 little babies buried with him. And those kids are going to be just like you accompanied your dad here, they're accompanying him in the grave. So your dad needs you now just to keep him in your prayers and be good to your mum and to your brother and sister and help be a good person in life and keep remembering your dad. And along those words that, you know, to give them comfort. How much comfort can you give a 5-year-old? How can we understand what they're going through, bro? And you know, and she looked at me like that, and I felt like, you know, I did what I can. But when I walked away from her and I looked at everyone on the other side getting in their cars and four-door drives and all that, I said, everyone goes back to their kids now. They're expecting their kids come from school, home, everything. She won't go back to her dad. That rock in the family, you know, the father's always the superhero to the daughter. She won't have that anymore. It's a missing link for the rest of her life. She may reach 80 years old. She'll always remember my father was never there because he died early. You know, this is how far I think. You know, I'll be long gone, but that's the humanity, bro. This is the heart, how it feels. And I'm happy I feel like that. I'm glad I feel like that, because the last thing I want to do is become desensitized.
I was going to ask you, which sort of circumstances are hardest for you, and you've obviously answered that.
That's one of them. There's been a few.
Very rough, sort of tough conversation, because even for me, like I lost my father when I was 14 years old, so I was very young. My dad passed away, and you're right. That moment, I can still visualize it, standing at my dad's grave, and everyone drives off, and you feel very, very lonely.
Yeah.
Because your dad's your rock, and he's gone. So it's tough. And now I've got kids of my own. I'm like, you know what? Like, you are that person to your kids, and just that thought, being able to visualize that, it's very, very hard. You know, we were standing to the side just before you came on formally, and the way you said this, it really it brings home a very strong message, and that is that, like, where I'm carrying out the final rights of this person. That's one hell of a way to put it. I'm carrying out the final rights for this person, because, you know, Islam deen is built around hukuk. It's built around our rights, our obligations, and this is literally the final right. And, you know, it's so important. And the way you frame that.
I'll tell you why I say it like that. Because I tell this to everyone. Every single deceased, when I get the phone call and I tend to his funeral arrangements as quick as possible. You know, if I'm eating dinner, lunch, at the movies, wherever it is, which hardly happens in other, I'll stop where I am. I'll get out and I'll attend to it. Book the grave, get the paperwork, speak to the doctors. Is the death certificate ready? You know, all that. Phone call after phone call. It's like a hype. It's like you just gave me an injection of a boost of energy. When I can establish all the dots and cross the T's, I'm giving this guy his rights to be buried as quick as possible. And I say to myself, when I wash him and shroud him and take him efficiently up for prayers and bury him as quick as possible, I say, on the day of judgment, this man will be a witness for me. This soul will stand in front of his Lord and say, Ya Allah, this man gave me my rights. He didn't continue watching his movie, or he didn't put his phone on Do Not Disturb when I finish my dinner, or whatever I'm doing. Or he's having his workout. I've broken all my workouts. Training was my life. I'll stop my workout now. You know, you lose that pump, you know, who cares? I'm doing something which is more important. That's worldly. This is not. So this is how I look at it, that he will be a witness for me. And, you know, in the life we live now, the more witnesses you have, the more stronger your case is. You know, the more you win in the court system. So when I look, if I have a great witness base on the day of judgment in front of the Lord, who's the witness of everything anyway? How could I lose, man? We all want paradise, don't we? We're all trying to head to Jannah. We all want that final abode. You know, this world can't be paradise. If this is paradise, we got ripped. You know, I don't want paradise. Raw deal. Raw deal, bro. People are dying at 20 and 60 and 100. And no, bro, we're promised better than this, you know? And I'd understand if someone lives his life evil all his life and someone lives his life good all his life, you can't be at the same level at the end. It's not going to work. It's like the system in life. You can't be a criminal and you can't be a good person and expect to have the same treatment, first of all, the same treatment and the same, you know, outcome. The same with death. That's how I look at it, you know. I'm just sowing seeds, bro. You know, every time the boys ask me, because they know I used to be, you know, business and excavations, you know, I bought my first Ferrari and when I was 19 and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Put the house on the water. I did all that. I hang out with Ahmad, did all that. And everyone knows I've come from a successful base. What hurts them more is, what makes them wake up, not hurts them, is seeing me do what I do now. Yeah. That I've detached from all that. You know, I've got Arnold's number on my phone. Like, I've all this stuff's here. It doesn't appeal to me anymore. And they say to me, what else are you doing anything on the side, Ahmad? I said, bro, funerals just takes up all my life. I said, but I'm building. And Like, hey, you know, the eyes light up. The humans building. What are you building, bro? Like, building's money. Yeah, bring it on.
Best friends, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm building mansions, bro. Oh, where? Must be the northern beaches. That's where all the mansions are. I said, no, bro. I'm building them in the hereafter.
Yeah.
So when I leave this earth, I'm gonna find all my mansions and all my good deeds. And they just put their heads in like, you know, like bang. And I thought to myself, if you don't treat this life as an investment for your akhirah, then what are you living for, bro? Your kids, they have to be your investment for when you leave. You have to be an investment for your parents to keep their legacy going when they. It's not about you inheriting your dad's business and that's worldly. You may die the day after him. What's the greater gain is you remembering them in your prayers and dua and doing the ongoing charities for them. And you know, recently I was in Manila a couple of weeks ago for the Philippines, for the orphans. And we've been looking after these orphans for 7-8 years. And when I came back, everyone said, how was it? Blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, what can I say? You saw the pictures. The guy's been sleeping on a mattress for 7 years, all broken up, ripped, like eaten by rats. And he was saying, alhamdulillah. When he gave him a new one, he goes, alhamdulillah again. The same word twice. You know, like, what do you want me to say? I said, but you know what? For me, it was a business transaction. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'll tell you what it was. I said, the Hafiz of the Quran, so there's about half of them that are Hafiz now. They know the Quran off by heart. There's a couple of ahadith, you know, they can intercede for 70, they can intercede for 100 people on the Day of Judgment. I thought to myself, what an investment. I went there, they've seen me a couple of times now, you're giving them, you know, helping them in life. On the Day of Judgment, they don't know 70 people in their life. These orphans don't have 70 friends. Who are they going to bring? The other guy who's a Hafiz too? He's already got... I said, it's an investment. They're going to remember me and the boys that came. Oh, Allah, where's that guy that came, the funny guy, sunglasses, and where's those boys? This is your investment that all angles you look at it, you're insured. You're guaranteed. You're kind of glad that you've done those little actions in the world and didn't chase what, you know, everyone else ran for and then left it behind. Because the truth is, you will leave everything behind. You'll leave your wealth, you'll leave your family, your belongings. You'll only take your deeds and your actions, good or bad. They're the only things that stay in the grave. You know, and I said this to the boys the other day. I said, not long ago, I did a funeral for a doctor. And this doctor was a good man. He did a lot of stuff charity-wise, like helping people for advice. You know, doctors normally you can't talk to them. And his son's a doctor, and our family are doctors. And his son, who took care of his dad's funeral, was with me. And when we buried him, he jumped in the grave. You know, it was a bit awkward. He jumped in the grave because doctors, bro, they don't move like us, you know. And I helped him along. And when we got out and we put the truck and tipped that dirt, he said to me, I can't believe he's gone, Ahmad. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I thought he's going to go back home with me. I said, why would you say that? And he pointed, he goes, I drove his car here, and his car was parked right there, his dad's car. And I said, this is the hadith about your wealth follows you to the cemetery, then leaves. And you just put it in prime perspective. You're driving your dad's car back home now. You came in it, now you're driving it back home with your mum. Like, look at that, bro. That's the deceased car. The grave stayed here and the car drove away. SubhanAllah, it got me, you know. Actually, these little things get me because I ponder about them. Like, one day that'll be me. Everything you've accumulated on this earth, including your wardrobe and everything else, will stay. And you will be gone that way, you know. That's why I think when you started with my videos, why they've impacted so much. I think it's talk from the heart.
Yeah.
You initially said, you know, you had it all. You had your Ferrari at 19. Seems like you were doing good in life, right? Money-wise, I would assume. So what was that point? What was that breaking point where you stopped all that and then started doing this? What happened in your life for you to be like, stuff all that? I want to concentrate on for my afterlife.
You know, I started at the age of 17 collecting dead bodies.
Okay.
Like when I was on my P's, I used to work in a supermarket on the weekends doing all the forklift work for extra money when I was year 11 and 12. So I would drive on the way to that distribution center on the weekends. Everyone had girlfriends and all that. Oh, I couldn't get. I thought I was weird. Like I couldn't have a girlfriend. I didn't know that Allah was saving me. You know? If my wife, Allah bless her. And the road we take, there was a big sign saying Rookwood Cemetery on the left, and that's the biggest cemetery in the Southern Hemisphere.
Really?
It is. Yeah, look it up. Rookwood Cemetery, biggest cemetery in the Southern Hemisphere. Rookwood. R-O-O-K. Yeah, in Sydney. Yeah, it's the biggest cemetery. Yeah, look it up. And I see this big sign left, and I go straight. Then one day I was a bit early. I thought, you know what, bro, I'm going to kill some time. I'm going to see what's left. So I drove into the cemetery, bro. Big gates. And you'll get lost in. There's a bus service in there. There's everything, bro. And I just drove around, and I found the Muslim section back then was right close. And I started looking at the names, reading the names, pondering. You know, 2 families from the same name, a month apart. Like, I remember these 2 brothers, Turkish brothers. One was like 20-something and one was 30-something. And they had died 2 or 3 rows apart. And I thought to myself, how did their mum feel when she lost both her sons? This is how I was thinking. This is a true story. And then the week after, I started enjoying it. So I bought a whippersnipper, like back then, and I started cutting the grass around the graves. So I don't look presentable, bro. I'm very fussy, bro. I like everything clean.
Yeah.
And one day this guy comes up to me, he goes, who told you to cut the grass? I said, no one. He goes, no, you're here on that work release, jail stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm here because I'm going to work. And I was like 18, man. And he was like, and he just walked off. Like, this guy's weird. Why are you cutting grass with the cemetery if no one's even paying you for it? But it started where, man? And then my first job at 19 when I had an excavator was to dig at the cemetery. But at 18, I was collecting dead bodies. I got a job at the mosque where I am now. And the old guy couldn't go pick up bodies. He was just doing the paperwork. So he said, if you pick up a dead body, you get $30 back then. But you have to take someone with you because one person can't do it. So you have to give him 15 and you get 15. And you drive their van. So I used to go on my own. I said, you know what, bro, I'll scab it. I'll take it all. You know, I study was $60 a fortnight, $30. That's a good year. So that's where I started to ponder a lot, you know. Bro, I'd go like, I'd go, morgues. Morgues are in the worst places of hospitals. They're not like the main entrance. They are in dungeons,
Basements.
basements, detached from a hospital, where you think trucks only go in there, or dumpsters, or all the stuff that they're getting rid of hospitals, they put out there. That's the morgue area. And I used to go collect these deceased. I think to myself, this guy lived in Bellevue Hill, rich area. This guy was a nobody. This guy, but they're all in the same place. And the fridges were all like that, and you pull them out.
Yeah.
Not cool rooms like now. So when I used to collect the dead guy, I'd put him and roll him on the thing, and alhamdulillah, I could lift and that. And bro, when I'd go back to the funeral parlour at Lakemba, where I am now, but we moved to the new one, it was a garage. So I'd open the roller door, I'd go in there and I'd put him on the table, and wallah, Allah's my witness. It'd be 1, 2 in the morning. I just look at him like that, and I just make the heart for him. Whatever I knew back then. And I say, this is how I used to think. I say, inshallah, maybe I am the only person in the whole wide world right now making a prayer for this soul. Because everyone's sleeping and everyone's forgotten, who you might have everyone's sleeping. That's how I used to think. You want to be that shining star. You want to be the one who shines for the right reasons. I thought, if I can shine in that world, in the unseen world, then at least I get looked after. And that's how I used to treat my deceased, bro. Everyone meant something to me, And whether he was, I didn't know who they were. I just used to do that. And that's how it came, bro.
I want to ask you a technical question.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this, never got the answer for it. You talk about hospitals, morgues, and everything else like that. You have people who go through autopsies and all that type of stuff. Some people who die in really scary, accidents and all that type of stuff, and their bodies mangled. And how do you do a ghusl for that? How do you go about doing that? Where there's so many different, how do you manage all that?
Goes back to what I was telling you. I will try to do whatever I can to give that deceased his right. And the right for a deceased in Islam is to wash him. Now, sometimes you can't wash him, so you have to do, tayammum with the rock. Just basically touch him in the bag. So in COVID, a lot of that happened.
Okay.
All right. But I'll tell you, for example, I had 2 young guys about a year and a half ago die in a car accident in Sydney. They were coming back from the gym about 11 p.m., 20 and 19-year-olds, like best mates. And we know with these young guys, little rascals. And they pulled a chase with the police or whatever happened, and the police chased them. They ended up crashing, and the car blew up. All right, they were both burnt to death. This area on one of them wasn't burnt because the steering wheel protected him, but the rest were burnt, bro. Burnt to the degree where you can see muscle fibers because they were lean, muscly little kids, When I went to wash them, bro, I thought to myself, I can take the easy option and just do tayammum while they're still in a bag. I said, I'm not. I'm going to try to wash these guys. Even if it takes me 20 towels, I'm going to wash them. I took them out, and I had some boys there helping me. And obviously, when you're stiff like that, like you're charcoal, bro. Wherever you touch, you get black on you. And I'd put the towels in water, and I'd dab them. Like the head, the back, throw the towel. The other body part, throw the towel. And each one I went through about 7, 8 towels. And I said, you know what? Now I feel happy. Because when I shrouded them, I put a little bit of plastic so the charcoal doesn't go through the shroud, and I shrouded them like normal. At least this is how I got to the stage. When I got to the cemetery, a big funeral, when young guys died, when we lift the deceased, you're not feeling the plastic bag anymore. Because you know when they're in a bag, it puffs out like a rectangle. You can actually see the body because we do it real tight. And people are like, oh, he got washed. Like, they mustn't have been that bad. In my head, if only you see the photos, they were bad. And I thought, you know what? I gave them their rights. And then from then on, you know, I had a guy who was found dead for 3 months, bro. Basic maggots coming out of him. The guy that dropped him off to us dropped him off on the floor of the cool room. Couldn't even handle the smell anymore. When I went in to wash him, that day, nobody wanted to show up to work. It was a Sunday. And I had one guy, a young guy who volunteers, truck driver, and he was there waiting in the car park. He's seen it on the Janez announcements. It's like Allah sent him. We picked him off the ground and we cut the clothes off him, and he died in front of the heater. His family didn't visit him. And we washed him, bro. It was a hard wash. You know, when you're taking maggots out of people's mouths and eyes and ears, it's hard. But, bro, I washed him. Until now, me and that guy talk about the fact that we gave him his rights. Even though he died in the worst circumstances, he was still given the same right as someone who died in the best circumstances. Because I may be asked about it, and he will be a witness for me. So yeah, these things are, they come, man. It's reality. The human body is just, it's a vessel. It's carrying our soul. It can be damaged. I fall down the stairs, I'll break. You know, you get people that are broken, body parts everywhere. You know, the worst I've ever seen is a child that was mauled by a dog. Try putting that together. The coroner gives you body parts. When I went to wash, I had to put it together. And I thought to myself, subhanallah, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us together, created us in the best way possible. And it says that we will go back to dust, and then he'll bring us back together, reform us. And when I was putting that leg in, you know, the best I can, I thought to myself, wow, we're nothing. We are actually nothing, bro. And that's the reality I see. I don't expect everyone to stomach it or understand it. But we're humans, bro. That pretty look and our clothes and this is just, it's superficial. It's on the outside. The hairstyles and that. At the end of the day, we're a soul, and the body will die. The body will decompose. Doesn't matter if you're the queen or the cleaner on the side of the road. You're going to decompose because that's what the bodies do. We're human. We're meat. We're flesh. We're blood. When all that stops, it all goes off. It's the soul. How pure is the soul? How good was that soul? What kind of soul were you? We all got souls, bro, you know? And the only time you feel your soul is when you sleep. When your soul exits your body. You know, dreams. Your soul's moving. You know? The person looking at the person sleeping sees him as sleeping, right? But he doesn't know that soul's underwater somewhere or in space or feeling pain, you know. The body, in dreams, you see certain dreams, sometimes they hurt. But the guy watching you, just like the dead. When we watch the dead, to us he's just there. But where's the soul? See how close it gets?
You did mention about how you wake up during the nights. Is it because of the things that you see?
A couple of things that make me wake up very early is when I know it's a funeral for someone I know. I kind of, it's excitement that I'm going to give him his rights the next day. I'm usually there 2 hours before everyone, just preparing everything, just pondering, just spending time with him. And it's like a kid, you know, like when we were young, getting up to ride our bikes or we're going somewhere, you get up so early and you're ready. It's like I got that now.
Nervous energy.
Nervous energy, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'll go train, but I'll cut my training short because I just want to be there. Like, yalla, move, let time go quicker. So I feel that now, and I say, alhamdulillah, I feel it because I love what I do, bro. You know, I love it. I love my job, bro, because I know my job is temporary because it'll get done to me one day. And every single thing, like yesterday I had about 120 kids from Malik Fahad Islamic School from the 3 campuses. And last week I had the girls, and yesterday I had and they came to the actual funeral for that kid. And bro, they participated, they came to the coffin, they prayed, and they went to the cemetery. And then I gave them a talk at the cemetery. And I thought to myself, 120 kids just listened to a message, saw a funeral. Out of those 120 kids, how much extension is there to their families who can pass away? And it's happened before where people have come and done these workshops. We're down the track a month or two, they're at the funeral parlour, and they actually lead their family into it. because they've been there. You know the human nature. When you've done something, you've already
You're more
got
comfortable.
That comfortable.
Yeah.
So they make everyone comfortable because they've been there before. And it's like it's a godsend, man. It's a godsend because I've had people who show up for one of their family members. It's like this kid. I remember this kid. He was 17 years old, and I think it was the UMA boys. They'd done a workshop for him, and about 2 months later, he came to the funeral parlor, and he said, it's my dad that died. It was a young guy, 42, 43-year-old. And I said, oh, all right. I said, you want to come? He goes, yeah, I want to wash him like you taught me. And bro, he washed his dad, and he sat in the car with me, and we drove his dad to the cemetery, and I made him jump in the grave and bury his dad. You think he'll ever forget that? He'll never forget it. Just like you told me you buried your dad, you'll never forget that day.
No. I washed him, buried him. Can't forget him.
You'll never forget him.
Didn't know that.
It's the rights. The rights is the family to wash. And hence I say to myself, you know, my job is so important to me that I'm there at the worst day of someone's life. Not for the deceased, he's dead. For the family. I'm that point that, could you imagine ringing someone who doesn't answer his phone and you've just got a deceased? It's bad enough when you want something off him that don't answer. Like, but you know, your dad, your dad's like, the other time mate rings me, it was 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and I don't sleep. Every half an hour my eyes open. So I look at the phone. Did I miss a message? And he's like, my dad just died on the way to the granny flat because the house was detached on the granny flat, and he was walking and he passed away in the middle. What do we do? What do I do? What do I do? So, you know, this is bro, this is when you come into, it's like a commander. You're in action. Allahu Akbar, bro. That's how you do it, man.
Yeah.
That's my life.
I've got another technical one for you.
Yeah.
You know, now this is an edgy topic, but we'll talk about it anyway. Sometimes, you know, people say that somebody passed away and they have nur on their face.
Yeah.
And some people may embellish that a little bit. Some people may whatever. Obviously, you see these things more so than anybody else does.
Yeah.
You see it every single day. What's your perspective on this? Do you, in your own head, somewhere in your consciousness, is there a judgment that you make, or if there's somebody who passes away, I don't know, in a nightclub somewhere, you're like, you know what, what was this person doing when? Because there was one lesson that was taught to me by a teacher of mine when I was very, very young. And it was to sort of scare some of us teenagers from doing silly things. And he's like, always think about, before you commit any sin, what if I died in this state? Yeah. One is obviously, what would Allah think of me? And what would my hisab be?
How will you be resurrected?
Exactly. But also, what would your parents think of you in their absence? You know, some young boys, girls are run off in the dead of night. No one knows. They're sneaking off, doing something. What if you died in that state? And your parents came to know about the next day, and the undertaker turns up the next day. And what's your perspective on that? Firstly, on that whole,
I dealt with a case. I remember not long ago. The guy passed away. We didn't know nothing about him, right? It was a very airy kind of funeral where it wasn't those funerals that everyone's, close. And it felt like it was timid. Then I get a message a couple of weeks later. The guy said to me, I keep seeing him in my dreams. It was his mate. I think it was his best mate. He keeps seeing his friend in his dream suffering. I said, it could be just you thinking about him. Then he sends me another message going, he died drunk. Started opening up to me. I didn't know none of this. He died in a state he was actually drunk. Is he getting punished? Because he's seen him getting punished. I said, Allah forgives. Maybe, something happened, but we always think of good. Then he sends me another message again. He goes, I went to his grave and there was a dog defecating on his grave. That got me, bro. In all my life, I've never seen a dog at the cemetery. They don't go to cemeteries. Dogs, cats, animals stay away from cemetery because they can hear the azab, they can hear the suffering, they can hear that realm. All right. I thought to myself, if a dog's defecating on your grave, I've never ever in 30 years of my life, I've never even seen it, heard it, or anything defecating on the grave. What's that a sign of? It can't be that good anymore. So, but then again, I'm always going to say Allah knows best. But there are signs, man. And the Prophet ﷺ told us, there are signs for a good death. Sweat on the forehead as someone's on. But this has to be a practicing person, man.
Yeah.
Can't be a guy who, if he dies on a Friday, he dies a blessed death. He won't be, punished in the grave. He passes the grave questionings. Brother, but if the guy was in a nightclub on a Friday and he died, it's a whole different kettle of fish. So he has to actually be a believer. He has to be a person who practices, who's actually practicing the faith, who's a person who's, you know, followed the rules and the commands and submitted. And then if he gets these little perks, you know, little cheats, as they say, then yeah, we can maybe say apply, inshallah. You know, the lady that dies giving birth, she's a shahide. You know, and I had that. I had a young lady as she gave birth. They took the baby away and she died. At that funeral, seeing, you got me again, bro. Seeing her husband, small family, bro, because they come from parts of the culture of the world that, not like us Arabs, we got 100 people come. They come from parts of the world that they're not famous people. They're famous to Allah maybe, but not to us. And at that day, there was 2 or 3 funerals. Actually, it was 2 funerals because there was my mate's mum who's a copper, and it was a massive funeral. Everyone, the who's there. And then I had this sister who's I think 28 or 27 on one side of the area where the funeral parlor is near the window, and only his mother, so the mother-in-law, and the husband were sitting next to her, and he had his head down on the bench. And that scene, I still remember it till now. And I thought to myself, she died, she's a shahide, you know, and she gave birth and she died right after it. And that kid's I keep thinking of that girl, you know, growing up without a mother, and when she finds out the story, you know, subhanAllah. But I thought to myself, my heart cried for him, but didn't cry for the other person. Because what makes you better than him? I don't, like, is it because you have people around you? But, you know, all these people are going to leave the cemetery when they go. I think if you get the whole entertainment centre, a crowd coming to your funeral, the Queen had the most people, and 10 days of mourning, everyone forgot her. If they don't mention her, you don't even remember her. So whoever comes goes. As much as you think they love you, they will not sleep at the cemetery with you. The gates close and they kick you out. So at the end of the day, everyone's on equal path at the cemetery. It's a level playing ground, eh? Rich, poor, we're all next to each other. That's 40 centimetre difference. So what's going to be the difference now? What's going to be the pinpoint of what kind of soul you were and what state you died in? SubhanAllah, this is how I think, bro. I think sometimes it's a bit a psychologist.
Yeah, I feel like there are moments where you probably just sit in silence and just cry. That's the vibes I'm getting right now as you remember these things. Can you share with us probably the saddest experience you've ever had in your career? Because a lot of things that you mentioned now, like I won't be able to cope with it if I was experiencing.
Saddest part is my mum. You know,
Okay.
Like, you know, I go to the coroner. Coroner people know me usually. You know, Ahmad checked the wristband, ID, and when I went to pick up my mum, who passed away suddenly, like, you know, went in for a little day surgery and she hemorrhaged and she ended up dying. She went to the coroner, and when I went to pick her up, the girls go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna check the ID band." I said, "It's all right, I know who it is." And they looked and they go, "I go to my mum," and they just got up off their chairs and, you know, "Oh, so sorry, so sorry." I said, "It's all right, don't be sorry. It's reality. We do this every day. You've got 250 bodies in the courtroom, you know. Don't be sorry about me, because that's my mum. She's one of them now. She's passed on to the next world. I call them the spedsters, sabikun. They sped to the next one. We're going there. It's just our turn hasn't come." And you know, taking my mum back to the funeral parlour and doing everything I do for everyone else, except this time I got my uncles and aunts, and my mum's got like 7 brothers, 7 sisters, and everyone's there, and my mum's the first one to die out of them all. And she was young. She was 60, my mum. And I thought to myself, I'll never get these moments again with her. And then I buried her. I jumped in the grave and I laid her in, and I thought to myself, those memories never leave you. That was the saddest day of my life, because I drove after it when I went back to her house. Well, the night she died, when I went back to her house, I remember I went inside and her coffee mug was still there, that she didn't finish her coffee before she went for the surgery. It was day surgery. So we rushed her, you know. She had her 3 outfits on the chair, because you know how they can't decide what they want to wear. And I thought to myself, subhanAllah, look at the person how he is. Yani, he leaves it all and goes, and she's not coming back home to this.
And clearly you can't wash her body because she's female, right?
My auntie washed her,
Yeah.
but I did everything else, you know. And my mum I'll never forget, because she's my mum.
How long ago was it?
3 years ago now.
3 years ago.
And with my mum, what I remember with my mum is, and this is how I relate it to other people, is, you know, my dad was angry when we were young. She'd hide for you, you know. She'd cover for you, you know. Tiab al-Eid, she's the one that took you to the shopping. Your dad didn't take you. He doesn't got that, you know, that patience.
Taste.
Yeah.
Taste or patience. So my mum would take, my mum would steal money from my dad on the side and give us money. And those are the things I remember my mum taking me to school. My mum would drop me off, and my mum would make us food after school. We'd all sit there and eating at the table after. These are the things. On Eid, my mum would jump in the car. My mum takes us to all our uncles and aunts collecting money. This is what I remember my mum. And I know everyone has those memories too. That's why I relate it with everyone. It wasn't I'm special. This is called family. It's called your mother, your father. This is what family is. For, unfortunately, not everyone has family, but the majority of people, that's what you would, that's what you would think when they pass away. And those memories will never be there again. And then you start to relive them. As much as you look at them on your phone and that, they're not like when you were there. Because the biggest thing I find us humans have is regrets, especially at the time of death. For the living, not the dead. The dead will have regrets, but we don't know about them. But the living will have regrets. I remember a case with a guy once. He was in the family. He's the guy that makes peace with everyone in the family, Come on, brother, talk to your sister. Come on, sister, make up with your mum. That guy. Not young either, 60s. But I know his sons. And he got a phone call from his brother in Germany. Or he rang his brother in Germany. He said to him, brother, Eid's coming. Or Ramadan's coming. Make up with your sister. You should be talking now. Like, this is too much. And his brother goes to him in Germany. You ringing me about this? He goes, next time you ring me about this, and he hung up on him. Before he said it, he goes to him, don't call me ever again about this issue, and he hung up on him. That guy died, not the one giving him the advice, the good brother. He died a couple of days later. The brother in Germany, the family told me, can't forgive himself, regrets to the day. And I thought to myself, that's one side of regret that you don't want to have. Your last words were hanging up on your brother, who's trying to give you advice or make good peace. But you don't want regrets in life, man. We're all going to have them. But you got to try to better, That's why it's so important, bro, that when you live this life, treat it as being fragile, man. Like something, you get a cup of water. You're not going to run with a cup of water. You're going to walk slowly because, it's hot coffee or whatever it is. Why don't you treat life like that? Why are we running? Everything is run, run, run. Take it easy, brother. The minute is still a minute. When you sit in a plane, right? You're doing 800 Ks in a plane, right? Do you feel like you're doing 100 Ks? But you get out there and you drive 120, you feel, the car's... Brother, take it easy. Just sit back and watch the show. Well, the time's traveling. Don't worry, it's going to move. It's going to keep moving. But just see your position in this world, because one day it'll stop for you. That time's going to stop. You will be no longer part of this worldly time. You'll be in the next life, the barrier, the unseen, where time doesn't exist anymore. Why are you rushing for it? Why are you rushing to, beat time?
Yeah. There's a lot of conversations these days within our Muslim community about the challenges that our youth face and everything else like that. You have obviously a very unique perspective on our community because you see them in a very, very different pace, different, aspect of their life.
Yeah.
What's your advice? When you interact with youth and whatnot, what's your nasiha to a lot of our younger generation, people in their late teens, 20s, sort of setting up their lives, and obviously their focuses are very, very different to the things that really, really matter and are so, so important.
I tell youth all the same thing. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't do something. Believe in yourself. And I always tell them, surround yourself with positive people, successful people. Because there's a saying called misery needs company. So miserable people always need that company by miserable people. You can't be a miserable person and have someone positive go, come on, man, you can do it. He's gonna die. So company, surround yourself with those kind of people. And be yourself in life. Don't be the sheep. Be the shepherd. Be the leader always. And have this motto, with you or without you, I'm still going to do it. Because not everyone's a team player. Some people, me personally, I hated team sports because I would put in so much hard work and then some guy kicks it into the goal and he gets all the glory. And I was like, bro, I did all the hard work. So I go, I'm going to bodybuilding. I'm going to weightlifting because I'm lifting it. I'm punching that punch. I'm in the fight. It's one-on-one. That's what drew me in my life. And not everyone's built like this. Not everyone's going to be like this. But I tell youth, the main thing is respect your parents. That's very important. Because respecting your parents and being dutiful to your parents will open the way for a successful and patient and content life through our faith. Because when you're good to your parents, the Almighty's going to be good to you. Because no matter how successful you think you are, if your parents aren't happy with you, you ain't going to paradise. You will never see happiness in your life. Because happiness, bro, we we seem to forget the word happiness, what it really means. Everyone's after the pursuit of something, excellence, prestige. Everyone is pursuing something. But really, the pursuit of happiness is for everyone, the rich and the poor. You know, but we don't know our contentment lines. We don't have a limit. Where are we content with? You know, you give me a cup of coffee, oh, I'm content with that, bro. No, man, I want it in a mug. No, bro, I want it hotter. See, the content levels change. But at the end of the day, when death comes, why are we all content that we're going to die? Because we've got no choice over it. We can't control it. So be content, even if you've got the upper hand for more or better or whatever, and be happy with what you have. You'll always be humble and you'll always be peaceful in life, tranquility. And I tell these youth, find your peacefulness in life. Find your tranquility. Because it's hard, bro. But it was hard when we grew up too. It was a different era. It was hard when everyone had their era in growing up. I find the young guys now have other battles and other problems in life. Everything's expensive. You know, looking at the goal now, it's harder to buy a house. It's harder. But do you really need to buy a house? You need a roof over your head, right? Some people don't have a roof over their head. So why don't you look at a roof over your head? Because that leads to marriage and all this stuff that, you know, you want to do in life to set up. Look at every day as it is. Don't look at so far ahead. Because when you look at the finish line, sometimes it feels, bro, I'm not going to make it, you know? So look at what today is. You may not make it to tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come. But today you're here. You're in the present. So live for the present. And another thing too with the youth, like even today, at doing the funerals, like the kids come up to me. The parents bring them. They go, oh, they want to meet you. They want to have a photo with you, like all this stuff, you know? And I go, you watch the videos? And they tell me, I watched that video. What'd you learn? And they tell you. And the other day at the cemetery, this guy comes up to me. You know, after the cemetery, everyone shakes and talks. And I give everyone their due respect, bro. I don't care if you're young, small. Everyone's going to get their respect. And this kid, I can see him from the corner of my eye. He's trying to get my attention. And I turned around, shook his hand. And he said to me, your videos, I love your videos. I go, you watch them? He goes, yeah, because they make me ponder. That word, bro, that word got me.
I've never used that word in my life.
Man. I started using it. I said, ponder. I said, how old are you, bro? He goes, 15. I go, what's it make you ponder about? Because 10 years ago, you're still learning how to go to the toilet. Like, what are you pondering about? Because I ponder about life. And I thought to myself, subhanAllah.
At 15.
At 15, like, look how he's thinking.
Yeah.
So if my message, my reminders can help these youth not get attached to the world, because, you know, I find sometimes the world sinks us, the bills, overwhelming, bro, ATO, this, that, bank accounts, fees, Red insurance, all this stuff. When you teach people out there that, you know what, just live it day by day, bro. You know, live it day by day in the sense of there's some things out there you can't control. They're going to keep happening in life. Bills and all that is still going to keep coming. So don't stress about it. When it comes, you pay it. You can't pay it, do a payment plan. You know, there's always a way, bro. As long as you're alive, you still have a chance. It's when you're not here anymore, you've lost. And this is what I teach these youth, that, you know, don't overwhelm yourself. Just enjoy it, brother. You're 15, 16, 17, 18, or whatever you are. Enjoy it. Because you're only going to be that age for one time in your life. You know, as they say, lehin, we got the headaches coming in life. Don't worry. There's going to be, because it doesn't end, bro. You're a kid. Then you're trying to get married, and then you have kids, and then you got the kids, you know, problems, and then they get married, then you got their kids' problems. Doesn't end, bro. It actually doesn't end. So, brother, don't think about it. Like, you know, already I've just drained myself. Just think of today, man. Enjoy today. Be patient in life and content. They're my favorite words: contentment, humbleness, patience,
And ponder.
Ponder. Yeah, I add that one on it too. That's a pondering is one of those things that it's a beautiful word if it's used right. You know? But some people ponder about the wrong reasons, you know, like, oh, if I make it on Fortnite, whatever that game is, I'll ponder. So, brother, that's the wrong pondering. Ponder about your life and your situation, you know.
Was there ever a moment where you felt like, I don't know, something spiritual? Either when you're washing a body or when there was a funeral, did you feel like, you know, maybe the angels are in this funeral or something? Was there ever that moment that you've ever experienced?
SubhanAllah, some souls are blessed, man. Because when you wash them, you feel a presence in the room. Because we know through the hadith and through our religion that the soul's present at the time of washing and the time of burial. You actually feel it, bro. If you can learn to feel within yourself, that's why I tell people just ponder sometimes, you know, just be at one, slow down, you know, time out. When I'm washing the deceased, everyone tells you I'm a different person in there. I don't know what's going on around me. Because I think to myself sometimes, you know, when you go to grab his hand and you're checking his nails, and then you go to wash his hand, for example, and his fingers like that, and I go, and I look at it and I freak. I think, was his last words a shahada? Wow. That's what makes me. And there's signs, bro. There's signs like the room has this air about it that feels tranquil. And you know the washers sometimes, they're quick. It's like, did I do it right, bro? I start questioning myself. Even the guys help me. You go, bro, that was quick, bro. Like he was so easy to wash. And then some are very hard. Like when you say hard, I said, I don't know, just it feels like it's repetitive, you know. It's just, bro, I'm still on the back. Like I haven't even got to the other side yet. Well, some are just like, bro, we're at the end. We're drying. And I think this is, you know, when I ask a lot of questions, I don't want to get into too much detail, but when I ask questions to the families, there's always something good about that person, you know. The other day, a guy I was catching up with, I said to him on the phone, because I always follow up with the family members. I said, how's your phone? How are you doing? Are you, you know, staying in touch with your mum? He's helping your mum. She's lost her husband for 40 years, whatever. He goes, you wouldn't believe it, bro. I said, he goes, we got a phone call from Lebanon for my dad. I said, khair, like, well, what's wrong? He goes, for money. I said, oh, did he owe money, Yanni? He goes, no. He goes, he's been supporting charities. He's been supporting the charity and orphans in Lebanon for like 5, 6, 7 years, unknown. And the money stopped coming because he died. And nobody knew about it except him. So they actually called up, you know, the family trying to get, you know, and they told him he died, and they were so upset in that. And he said, see, we didn't even know what my dad was doing. He always never had money. And I thought to myself, see, because all his pension, everything he'd just give. And I thought, see how the people have goodness you don't see sometimes? There's goodness out there that comes out after your death. And these are all the signs from the Almighty of a good person. Because even you hid them in this world, Allah exposes them for you. The Almighty shows them to the world. You may not want people to see them, but then the Almighty says, you know, I want people to see them because I want to elevate your status. I want you to raise your ranks. You deserve this. And it goes back to being a humble person in life. But yeah, bro, you feel it, man. Some people have that air about them, man. It's even when they even lowering them in the grave, sometimes they just come straight down on their right side, bro. Like basically on the wall, right side. Like we did a 97-year-old lady the other day, and her 2 sons were from, like, they weren't close to din. But there was a guy there who was old, and I asked him, because I've known her for a long time, she supports, like, she's very into the din, but the kids aren't. And she's 97 years old, like, that's a barakah. And when we buried her, I jumped in the grave because the sons didn't want to jump in there. But she was like, she's straight on the side. She went like straight sideways, facing Qibla on the right side. And me and the other guy in there, like we talk about it after, because we're always like, you know, okay, hey, Ahmad, he goes, bro, she just came straight sideways. Okay, yeah, subhanAllah. She just wanted to get off this world, because they delayed her funeral for a few days, the boys. Oh, look, mate, we're just going to send the invitations out, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's like, bro, this is not Islamic, you know, but I have to respect the family wishes. I do what I can. But it was like, she was like, just put me in the grave and bring me back to my soul and back to where I'm going. And we feel this, man. I feel it sometimes, like, you know, that's me. But subhanAllah, there are signs of a good death, man. I believe there's signs between a good soul and a bad soul.
Yeah. Well, there's one that it happened in our local masjid. You know, like I would lead Fajr Salah there when I was a bit younger, and this one day I came late for Salah, and one other brother came in to fill in, and he was an elderly gentleman. He comes in, he's leading Fajr Salah, he goes into sujood, and then he's there for a long time, and people are like, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. So they're trying to prompt him to get up.
Yeah,
he passed away in that state.
You were there.
I was right behind him. Fajr Salah, leading Imam. He's not even the Imam. He's not even meant to be there. But just that it was his nasib. That's it. That morning, it was decreed that he would be leading Salah, second sujood of the second rak'ah. That's it.
You know,
and yeah,
that's amazing, bro. Because those, you know, we know in our religion that the angel of death is waiting for you. He doesn't come to you. Mulakikum. He waits for you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a means and a way for you to be there.
Yeah.
And I know that with a good mate of mine, Muhammad Dib, passed away a couple of months ago. He was a bit depressed, and his brother-in-law said, let's go on a cruise. So he took him on a cruise ship in Queensland for 3 days. Now, he died on that cruise the second night. And I saw a picture the other day of him having dinner the night he died. He was sitting there eating dinner, and he looked upset, you know, but they were trying to make him happy. And he died that night. And I thought to myself, and we buried him in that, and I thought to myself, subhanAllah, if I had told Muhammad Mohammed, you're going to die on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean at night. He go, yeah, right, bro. I'm in Green Acre. How am I going to get to the middle of the ocean in the whatever ocean it is? Look how the means came for him to be out there, for his soul to be taken out there, brought back in a bag. You know, like, you don't notice till it's happened. When it reenacts, then you go, wow, didn't notice that. You know, a guy just a couple of weeks ago, I'll never forget this guy, he ordered a washing machine. And the guy went to deliver his washing machine. They rang him and said, look, the offsider hasn't shown up from the company, so we're going to do it tomorrow. He said, no, bring it today. I'll help you. You know, look at that. I'll help you with it. Company comes, brings the washing machine down on the trolley. He's just holding the trolley while they're going down the stairs. Just holding it, like just supporting it. He had thongs on. Look, thongs. His thongs slipped. Fell on his back. Hit his head, died right there and then. 50-something years old. Brother, who would think? He's happy to get his washing machine. He's telling the guy, come, bring it. Don't worry, I'll help you. Only because Allah wants to bring him for that place as dead. You know? SubhanAllah, look how the qadr works, man. Look how the decree works. The guy could have said, no, don't worry about it. I'll wait for the guy. Company policy, blah, blah, blah. His time wasn't decreed. Because it was decreed, it just all fell into place. Yeah. It's amazing, bro. I don't forget these people, man. There's a lot of stories, bro.
I could imagine.
There's a lot of stories. I mean, you know, stories of, you know, bro, like when you talk about decree, for example, decree. I remember we had a day where we had 4 funerals in one day, and that's usually the cap off, because for the machines and the cemetery and all that to lahi, and everyone gives their, you know, respectful times. The 5th one that passed away. So what happened? 4 got buried. No, sorry, 4 got buried. The 5th guy that died, they said to us, "Nah, sorry, can't get him in today." The family went off. Lebanese families always go off. I'll go down there, blah, blah, blah. Relax, brother. It's not meant to be. When we picked this guy up, he died that morning, but we couldn't get him in because he'd already been booked out for the day before by the other graves. The guys that had died, they were already in the cool room. I remember him wearing blue and white pajamas, striped, you know, like B1. I was always around B1. It was like B1. And an old guy, 72, 73. Address was like I remember the address and the area. Family went off. I said, look, man, funeral tomorrow. 4:35 in the afternoon, I get a message on my phone. Deceased. Address, man, same area, but just a different street. Name, same surname. Nah, bro, I ring up the guys. I said, bro, maybe we picked this guy up. He goes, no, it's a different one. All right. We went there to pick him up. Brother, blue and white pajamas.
No way.
I go B1 again, B2 now. And I'm like, in the moment, you're not putting things together. And I said, pick the old guy, 73, same thing, same look, same everything, subhanAllah. When I got back to the funeral parlor and I put them together and I looked at the paperwork, they were brothers. All right? They were brothers. And subhanAllah, look at this, amazing, bro. Next day, the cousins will come because they're cousins now. 2 brothers, you know, cousins. Everyone comes to the funeral. And I said to them, see how the Almighty decreed, because they said to me, first of all, that this brother would never go anywhere without that brother, without saying to him, we're going to die together. Like, you don't leave me. We died because barbecues, shopping center, wherever they went, doctors together. They're always together. They lived close to each other. Like, they even wore the same pajamas. And he said to him, like, if you die, I die with you. They'd say that to each other. And subhanAllah, they died like 7-8 hours apart. And I said to the family, just see the decree of Allah. You wanted to bury him yesterday and you were fighting and screaming and jumping. Allah had a plan for him to be washed with his brother, shrouded together, prayed it together, put in the funeral together, buried together. You can't stop the plan of the Almighty, my brother, because that's a decree that has to happen. And this is where you show people these examples that, and this is when we go back to the youth, you tell them, work hard, plant the seeds. You know, the saying says, tie your camel. Don't just say, oh, I put my reliance on Allah, you know. But work hard for it. But always remember, if something comes good for you, it's meant for you. And if it's not meant for you, it's not going to come to you. And we have this conversation with a lot of my friends. Like, you know, funerals, bro, you start to see all the boys you grew up with, and everyone surfaces. And we said to him, I remember the other day, I said to one of them, I said, bro, 25 years ago, remember we were hanging here doing this, doing that. And then one of them brought up the subject, said, yeah, man, remember, like, you know, that girl you were seeing, you know? And the other guy goes, yeah, man, lucky I didn't marry her, you know? And I said, yeah, see, lucky. Back then, you want to punch on with the dad and the mum and everyone because you wanted that girl. You wanted her so badly. See, now 25 years down the track, Allah's given you what he's given you. And you say, alhamdulillah, I didn't get that. And that's a lot of things in our life. We can't see it now. But Allah sees our whole plan ahead. So whatever comes to you, and if it's, you know, we may love something, but it's not good for us. And we may hate something, but it's good for us because Allah knows and we don't know. That's why accept it. Accept everything. Because, you know, the saying says, you know, I'll say in English, does it bewilder you that all the affairs of a believer are good? Because when goodness comes, we praise and we say thank you and we give shukur and hamd. And when bad comes to us, we're patient. And we also praise and say thank you because we're being patient. It's a win-win situation for both. Because one's a cleanser and one's an elevator. You can't lose. But you got to live like that.
It's a beautiful, beautiful perspective to have.
I think amongst all faiths, bro.
Yeah.
You know, look, one thing with funerals, with death, what gets people through it, and I noticed this, is faith. Any faith, Christian, whatever faith you are, whatever faith you have, is what gets people through these hard times and through these sorrow periods, especially through death. And the ones you find that don't have faith turn the other way. They go into, you know, drinking themselves silly, becoming addicted to things, or suicide, things like that. And we get a lot of suicides. Muslims, we get a lot of suicides, bro. We're humans. The brain isn't different for us that, you know, for someone else. We all have the same brains. We all have the same things going on in our heads. So yeah, we get it, bro. At the end of the day, it's life, bro. We're all, you know, I heard this saying the other day. It said the world is like a container, and the grave is a container in that container, in that world. So the world, and then you got a grave in the world. It's a clear container, and we're all bodies in that container of the world because we're all buried in the ground. And if you look at it in a clear perspective, all the bodies are in the ground, all around the world. In this world, that on top, the living are running, and the bottom, it's all full of corpses and what the world had before that was running the world. You know, there was empires that ran the world before. There was leaders. There was very important people. The world didn't just come today, 2024. We're here. Someone built where we are. You know, that couch was made somewhere. There was people. They may be no longer here. That's. I mean, death is just unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. I've made people hate death now.
Well, I mean, honestly, we could go on for hours, man.
know,
We
bro.
could keep going on for hours and hours and hours, and then, yeah, like this has been a crazy, crazy podcast. Like, because like I told you before, like I watch your videos. Like before the podcast, I told you I watch your videos, and you keep getting reminded of death, and you share your stories on your Instagram as well, like these sort of stories. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people just unfollow you because, you know what, this is actually just making me depressed.
It's too much of a reality check.
It's too much of a reality check.
The people that unfollow probably, you know, that's their choice because some people know nobody can deny death, bro. An atheist tells you I'm going to die. He doesn't believe in the Creator, but tells you I will die. So death is undeniable, a fact. You know, today I made a little video. As I was leaving the cemetery, I saw them constructing the headstones. They had them on pallets with names on them. And I thought to myself, man, there was like 10 of them there. And I was reading the names and that, and I thought, wow, one day that'll be our name on there, getting ready to put on our grave. That's how I ponder, man. That's like, I just looked, I made a video and I said, but that could be our name one day. And the world is watching, you know, and we're no longer here. Like, that's the reality of it. You know, the reality is, as much as you think you are something on this earth and important and time must stop for you, it won't stop for you. You're just another oxygen person. I'm not going to say thieving oxygen because there's a lot of them. But you're just another person. I'm going to say it, right? Because there's some people that deserve oxygen. But brother, we're all travelers, as the Prophet ﷺ said. We're all travelers. We're here for a short time. You know, you know, I was leading this thing yesterday actually, where a guy visited a certain guy in a house, like a traveler, a tourist, wanted to stay at a local person's house. And when he went there, he just found a bed and a lamp, oil lamp. And he said to him, like, where's all your belongings? He said to him, where's your belongings? He said, I'm a traveler. He said, and I'm a traveller too. The world's travelling. We're travelling. We're not taking nothing with us. So traveller, man, it's we look at it as just when I leave to go, you know, on our trip, like you're travellers now, you came from your home. But brother, the truth is our whole soul, body, life, we're travellers. We're just going to leave a footprint and move on. And that footprint will eventually get erased. It's your legacy. And what I love about what I do when we go back to these videos is the era of digital doesn't get erased for a long time. Well, before books and that all went, you know, all this old, pre my time, you couldn't do these reminders. Like, how are you going to get out to the world? It didn't work. You can't tell the world. It was like a phone. It was how many people can you dial to tell them someone died? There was no messages like now gets around the world in 2 seconds. So I think to myself, these reminders will be there a long time when I've left the earth. And people may sit back and go, you know what? The world's going to get worse. Ain't going to get better, bro. The truth is the world's going to get a worse and worse place. Morals are going to be lost. Ethics are going to be lost more and more. You know, next 2, 3, 4 generations is going to be probably the worst time to ever be on this earth. So these videos may surface and people say, man, were people like that in that time? Did people think like this? Well, bro, this guy talking like this, like, really? Like, you know what I mean? It's history, bro. It might pop up in classrooms. I don't know.
The man of Ponder.
Hey, it'll be a 3D hologram.
Yeah.
They'll make me into IA or whatever.
Yeah. Look, brother, honestly, do you have anything else to say, Mazza?
I've got one last question.
Let's go for it.
You mentioned about headstones.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's differing dini perspectives, and I've always wanted to ask somebody who's in this, let's call it a business.
Yeah.
You know, do you guide families on the right sunnah way of doing things? And I'm assuming some people would push back and say, okay, well, we are of means. We want to create a massive marble tomb to do this, blah, 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 to immortalize this person and put their artifacts or their possessions in there. And sometimes you go to the cemetery and you see people have an entire bookcase over there, and it's a bit much.
Yeah.
What's your guidance to our community around that?
I don't know you say that. Like last week in Brisbane, I told the guy on the way to the airport, brother, take me past the cemetery. He took me Underwood Cemetery, or I can't remember what the name was. The cemetery, I can't remember the name of the cemetery. I went to take him to the Muslim section. In the middle of that Muslim section, it's on my video. If you go back a few, like last week's ones, there was this Muslim grave, bro. It was that colour, marble, like that. And it was as big as this whole wall.
Wow.
And I thought, bro, this is weird. Everyone's just a normal grave. Who is this guy? And I didn't want to go near it because to me, going near that thing feels like a little bit, you know, doesn't open up heart. And then I looked to that side and I saw it's on the video, a sand mound, like a dirt mound, with just a little plaque on it, stone. And I felt more at ease as a human to sit next to him and read who he was and make a prayer for him, then go to that big one. It's our fitrah. It's our intuition. It's in us. I felt like, what are you proving with that? That money, 40, 50, 60, 100 grand, whatever it cost, brother, you only took up so much room in the ground. What was all that other room for?
Yeah.
And the second thing is, all that money could have been given to a much better cause for the living that need it. So in the perspective of Islam, like Brother Ali Banna, if you go to his grave, Allah yarhamu, he lived the sunnah as much as he could. He put a stone. And we know in the Muslim cemeteries in the Baqiyah in Makkah, Medina, the big stones are man, the little stones are woman. And people get reburied because there's no connection with graves there, like in the Western world. You know, you sign paperwork here, I own the grave. You know, people can think they got this. In the Western world, we seem to live in a way where we attach to things. Like, that's my car, my house, my street, my address. That's my dad's grave. I can go sit there. You know, people put seats and everything there. Well, in the Arab countries, like probably if you went back 100 years, it would have been like that everywhere. Where a grave was just a mound of dirt. And they're buried in their backyards, for example, because it belonged to that estate, that family. And this is where I think, I don't get into the technical side because when it comes to this stuff, bro, it's very touchy, but it's recommended to keep it as basic as possible. Elevate it a bit so people don't step on it. They know there's a grave. Here in Sydney, Australia, there's a method. There's a uniform method that's applied by the cemeteries because they're not owned by the Muslims. They're owned by, you know, whoever owns them. Have a method for every people to be buried that uniformed way. So you'll see all the graves the same now. You know, no one can have anything extra. But they've been putting these Qur'ans on there. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Solar powered. And people complaining because, like, you've got 15 surat playing at the same time. And there's no peace. There used to be peace at the cemetery. When I used to go there, I remember you'd peaceful. And people complain they're going to remove them now. but they're not helping the deceased. People are paying $900, $1,200 for these things. They're gimmicks because the Quran is for the living. It's Allah talking to you. The Quran are the words of Allah talking to you. You want to speak to your creator, read the book. That's you speaking to your creator. The dead can't read the book. So what's it listening for? Who's going to get any information out of it? That's why dua is really the only thing that will benefit, you know, the easiest way anyway, apart from ongoing charity and knowledge that they gave. Dua, Allah have mercy on him. Allah forgive him. That's it. But all this other, but in us we have this thing about, like you said, I want to make him the best. I want to give him a send-off that people know he was a respectable. People don't care, mate. People move on. What you just did there was to justify the inheritance you're going to get. That's what I say. It justifies I did something. So people don't say, oh, bro, he left all this money. What'd they do for him?
Yeah.
You know? I'm more proud of the one who goes and sets up orphanages and sets up water wells and all this stuff on behalf of a deceased because that he really spent the money in the right way for the deceased. And that's why I give this advice to everyone. While you're alive, engage in charity. Engage in charity either with your time, with your money, build wells, help orphans, whatever. Because you're alive, you control your money. You control the outcome. When you're dead, no one's going to do it for you. Even if it's your money, they won't do it for you. They'll take 2% of your money and go, yeah, that's it. And we need the rest, you know, because I want to buy a new car and I want to upgrade this. I want to go on a first-class holiday. I see it every day, bro. I see it every day. That's why the advice is, do it while you're alive.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end the podcast.
Yeah, beautiful advice.
It's a beautiful way to just recap everything and yeah, it's been a very touchy podcast, man.
Yeah, we had our touches, we had our laughs.
Like, I reckon if I'm your friend and we see each other often, I'll be depressed, man.
Not really, man. Like
it's the stories are crazy.
Yeah, but again, it gives you
stories.
perspective. Man.
It does.
It's perspective, and it's in a way it makes you a little bit sort of tingly, a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but it's a massive reality check, and kudos to you, brother. Seriously, you keep on doing what you're doing because for so many of us, like it's just Instagram has now become our go-to point and has become our encyclopedia. And as long as we're scrolling through and someone there is talking about qabr, hashr, qiyamah, you know, death and everything else, it's in and amongst all that other filth in that feed, that's one good thing that's there.
I'm happy and I'm glad that I can do that and I have a platform for it and I'm chosen for it and I actually love what I do, bro.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, but we're a business. We're not a business. We're a not-for-profit organisation, and I work on donation basically. Like I get whatever I'm happy with. They'll give me enough of a wage to pay my fuel and a little bit of my time. And believe me, it doesn't even make the recommended hourly rate of a person. I'm on a McDonald's rate, put it that way. I promise you. But you know what? I look at it like this. Everything I do is not about, I'm not doing it worldly. I have, alhamdulillah, I'm mastood, as they say. I'm in a good place in the sense of I'm content with what I have. I could eat a can of tuna, I'm happy. And I could eat out somewhere else and I'm happy. Both of them to me are food, sustenance. But I look at it as I'm building my next life. And what way to build it but to put in and give back, because I'm leaving it all anyway. And what's the biggest commodity asset we have is time, bro. And everyone underestimates it. People want to waste it. That every minute passes, you'll never get that time back. What did you do with that time? Allah swears by Surah Al-Asr, which is a surah on time, you know, the verse on time. Time is of essence, bro. The minute you lose, you will never gain back. And if it's not in the sake or the strive or the way of your hereafter and your creator and your Lord, you've wasted that time. It's a time of waste. And that's how I kind of look now. You know, they book me in weekends to go do talks and all that. And I say to them, and they say, oh, what's your fee? I said, fee? Why is there a fee for this stuff? They said, yeah, you know, we got this guy and his fee was this. I said, brother, fee? I said, what's your fee? Because I want to pay you guys for giving me the opportunity to raise ranks in the hereafter. Because this is all going to be, this is going to be so valuable because there's no currency in the next life. The currency is your deeds. So I'm happy to pay now to be able to have this platform to do this. And they just freak. And I said, but I mean this, you know. I said, I'm actually, most of the times I'll book my flight and I'll just upgrade myself with my points and stuff. Like, I don't tell them that, but I do it because I love my comfort too. But I'm not going to sit there, I won't come unless it's, you know, certain class of travel and certain hotel. Like I said the other week, we stayed that late. I slept at the guy's spare bedroom for those 5 hours before. I said, drop me at the masjid, wallah. I said to Ahmad Safi, I said, bro, drop me at the masjid. He goes, what for? I go, I'll just sleep there, man. At least I'll pray Fajr straight away and go to the airport. I don't care. Now, last week in Brisbane, I go to the guy, can you drop me, is there a Coles? He goes, yeah, there's a Coles there. I could give me 2 minutes. I went, I got 3-4 cans of tuna, packet of rice cakes. He goes, what's that for? I said, bro, it's my food. Is anyone? I said, bro, please, man. Like, I'm happy like this. Why? Because I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'm content with it, bro. That's me personally, you know. You got to be happy with what you have. And you don't see that sweetness except when you go through calamities in life. Like I told you, kidney failure, transplant, gifted by a brother giving me a kidney. Like, what a gift for a brother to give me a kidney. Here, bro, here's my kidney, take it. Now you can live a bit longer. And I said to him, I said, bro, everything I do from this day on towards our religion and goodness, you know, you've got a part in that. Because I've got your body part in me here. And he was freaking out, you know, and now he's seeing where it's gone since. Bro, you've just made the biggest investment of your life.
Any other body part? I'm
Yeah. Happy to chip in, man.
I'm so happy.
I'm losing my head at the
I'm
back.
losing my head. Like, don't touch my hair at this point.
Yeah, a bit of hair at the back of the...
He has lush hair. This one.
Happy to donate, man.
They got like strong black roots in there. Yeah.
Hey, look, brother. Look, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank
Like,
you, guys.
honestly, I don't want this podcast to end.
I told you it won't end. I told you. Okay, you got to shut me
I
up.
don't want it to
stop,
end.
bro.
Like, at this point, like, bring in the tunas and rice cake. Let's,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
have dinner as well. Let's just keep going.
Bro,
But like,
it's you know, it goes back up to the whole thing we talk about in death.
yeah,
You come with nothing, you leave with nothing. You will leave with nothing. The richest people leave with nothing. You know, who was was it Caesar or one of them that said, Caesar, or I can't remember. He said, when I die, let my doctors carry my coffin, and let all the streets filled with my wealth, and take my hands out of the coffin, let people see my hands. And the reason was the doctors couldn't bring me back to life. They're carrying me to my resting ground. My wealth, I'm not taking it. I'm passing by it. And my hands outside means, look, I'm not hiding anything with me. I'm going back empty-handed. And this was like some famous conqueror. You know, I can't remember who it was. It was Caesar. One of them said it. And that's so true, man. You come with nothing, you leave with nothing. But you leave with your deeds and your actions, good or bad. So imagine the one who's left a bad action, a bad thing in this world that continues while he's gone. He's going to be punished for it for a long time. And the one who leaves a good action, a good deed, a good sunnah, you know, going to cop the rewards. It's never lose, bro.
yeah, man. Yeah. We'll end
But
it
stop
here
talking subjects because I'll keep going, bro.
Yeah,
I got a subject for everything. You got to edit half of it out.
then. No, we'll keep it all actually. Yeah, we'll leave you here, brother. Look, thank you so much for coming, brother.
Thank
Ahmad.
you, boys. Thank
Really
you very
do
much.
appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
I've been excited. So
And we wish you the best in everything you do. Keep doing what you're doing. I think the world needs it. And it's a very uncomfortable topic, but I think you deliver in an amazing way.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the very important thing.
Alhamdulillah,
A lot of people out there deliver in a very brutal way, saying, you know, you're gonna go to hell if you don't do this. But you've done it in such an amazing way, and I really do appreciate
bro.
that.
I'll leave last point. The way I deliver my message is, I don't care what faith you are. I'm not here to question your faith or judge you or you judge me. I'm here to deliver the message of humanity. We came, all of us, from our parents, from our mum's womb, and we all came here going through school and learning and navigating through the world the same, bro. Whether you're the richest man in the world, the poorest, we had those nice ideas when we were young, bikes, and I want to do this. At the end of the day, I look at it as we all want one thing in life. We want to be happy. We want to be healthy, you know, and we want to be family around us. We all want that, bro. It doesn't matter what faith you are. So I never want to talk about in my videos, you're going to hell or heaven. I'm not God. I won't judge you. God will judge me and judge you and judge everyone's action. And I don't know what's in your heart. You don't know what's in my heart. So your intention, only Allah knows it, just like my intention. Therefore, I'm not in a position to judge anyone. All I can say is what I say, that, you know what, let's all get along. Let's all live together, bro. And while we're on this earth for these whatever day or year or decades, let's just live in harmony, bro. And let's be there for each other. Because what I love about our country here, when a calamity hits us, like, you know, the floods last time, all cultures came together, tradies, and went up to Queensland, wherever it was, and started fixing things and helping people get their houses back in order. And we didn't say, oh, he's not Muslim and he's Muslim and he's... Just like when I say, if I see a lady fall outside right now, I'll run to her. Are you Muslim? Oh, you're not Muslim? I can't help you. No way. I'm a human, brother. She's someone's mum. Could have been my mum falling. Allah yarhamha, you know. It could have been any one of us. So humanity is in us. It's what we fill this up with that makes this black. And this is where we need to make these two aligned with each other and synchronized with each other.
Beautiful message. On that note, thank you so much, brother. Assalamu alaikum to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I did. I have a feeling a lot of people will cry watching this, not going to lie. Parents out there with kids and whatnot. But yeah, give us a like, give us a subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one.